Once upon a time, in a small village called Sweet Vale, there was a magical river that flowed through the heart of the town. But this wasn't an ordinary river. It was made entirely of chocolate. The villagers called it the Chocolate River, and it had been there for as long as anyone could remember. People from far and wide came to Sweet Vale to taste the delicious, creamy chocolate that flowed endlessly. Children loved playing by the river, scooping the chocolate with their hands, and the baker in the village used it to make the best cakes and cookies anyone had ever tasted. Life in Sweet Vale was sweet, and everyone thought the chocolate river would always be there. But one morning, something strange happened. Mrs. Pudding, the owner of the village bakery, went to collect some chocolate for her famous brownies. When she dipped her ladle into the river, she gasped. The chocolate had turned bitter. She tasted it again just to be sure. It wasn't the sweet, creamy chocolate everyone loved. It was sour and strange. Soon the news spread across the village. Everyone ran to the river to see for themselves. The children who were playing nearby scrunched up their faces after tasting it. Even the animals that sometimes drank from the river refused to go near it. Something was wrong, and the villagers were worried. The mayor of Sweet Vale, Mr. Caramel, called an emergency meeting. "This is a disaster," he said, pacing back and forth. "If the chocolate river stays bitter, people will stop visiting our village. We must find out what's causing this and fix it." A brave little girl named Lily stood up. She was known for her curiosity and love for solving puzzles. "I'll find out what happened to the river," she said confidently. The villagers murmured among themselves. Lily was just a child, but everyone knew she was clever. Finally, Mr. Caramel nodded. "All right, Lily, you can investigate, but take someone with you for safety." Lily chose her best friend, Max, a boy who loved adventure as much as she did. Together, they packed a bag with sandwiches, water, and a map of the village. They decided to follow the river upstream to see where the chocolate was coming from. The journey was long and tiring. They walked through forests, climbed over rocks, and crossed small streams. As they got closer to the source of the river, the chocolate smelled stranger and stranger. It wasn't just bitter, it had a burnt smell too. Finally, they reached the mouth of the river, where the chocolate flowed out from a large, dark cave. The cave was surrounded by trees, and there was a faint sound of bubbling coming from inside. Lily and Max exchanged a nervous glance. "Are you ready?" Lily asked. Max nodded. "Let's go." They stepped into the cave, their footsteps echoing against the walls. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of burnt chocolate. The deeper they went, the louder the bubbling noise became. Finally, they reached a huge underground chamber, and what they saw made them gasp. In the middle of the chamber was a giant chocolate-making machine. It had pipes, gears, and levers all working together to churn out chocolate. But something was wrong. One of the pipes was leaking black, burnt chocolate into the river. Next to the machine stood a small, grumpy-looking man with a long beard and a tool belt. He was muttering to himself and hitting the machine with a wrench. Who are you? Lily asked, stepping forward bravely. The man jumped in surprise. I'm Mr. Fudge, he said. I'm the keeper of the chocolate machine. But it's broken and I can't fix it. What happened to it? Max asked. Mr. Fudge sighed. The machine has been running for hundreds of years and it's never had a break. Now the gears are rusty and the chocolate is burning. I don't have the parts to fix it. Lily thought for a moment. What parts do you need? Mr. Fudge pulled out a list from his pocket. I need new gears, a fresh cocoa filter, and a cooling fan. Lily looked at the list and smiled. We can help you. The blacksmith in our village can make new gears, and Mrs. Pudding has the best cocoa filters. We'll find a cooling fan too. Mr. Fudge's eyes lit up. You'd do that for me? Of course, Max said. We need the chocolate river to be sweet again. The next morning, Lily and Max returned to Sweetvale and told the villagers everything. Everyone worked together to gather the parts Mr. Fudge needed. The blacksmith forged shiny new gears. Mrs. Pudding donated her finest cocoa filter, and Mr. Caramel found a cooling fan from an old shop. When Lily and Max returned to the cave with the parts, Mr. Fudge got to work. He oiled the gears, replaced the filter, and installed the fan. Finally, he pressed a big green button and the machine roared to life. The chocolate started flowing again, smooth and sweet. Lily and Max cheered, and Mr. Fudge smiled for the first time. When they returned to Sweetvale, the villagers celebrated with a grand chocolate festival. They named Lily and Max the heroes of the chocolate river, and everyone enjoyed the sweetest chocolate they had ever tasted. From that day on, the chocolate river flowed perfectly, and Mr. Fudge made sure to take care of the machine. Sweetvale was happy once again, all thanks to two brave kids who solved the mystery of the chocolate river.